So, this is my home server. It's a Lenovo M720q with an Intel i5 CPU. I add storage via USB. Might not be the best solution, but it works for me. It's kind of a stock configuration apart from the 2.5 GB Ethernet port that I added, but I recently made a fantastic deal on this. It's a U.2 7.5 terabyte SSD. U.2 is basically NVMe, but with the old SAS connector, basically. You also might know it as U.2, but U.2 is the same with PCI 4, and apparently also a few other things. So the problem is, it doesn't fit in here. The Lenovo has a SATA port where the size would fit in, but to actually use it, you need to connect it to PCIe. The device has a PCI slot here, which is non-standard, but Lenovo sells this adapter, which is a their own special port to standard PCI slot. And with another adapter, this one here, I should be able to add it here. And I think I need to modify a few things on the way, but first things first. So let's add this one. Also, I know the SSD won't really be able to use its full potential in this machine since the machine only has PCI 3, but I mean, it's still 7.5 terabytes of SSD space. So I tested it in a different machine already, and it will write with 4 gigabytes per second and read with 6. But in the end, I'm more interested in the storage capacity than anything else here. So let's see. I might have to modify a few things here. In case you're wondering, the network cable is enclosed in this tape since I tried to modify it a bit to add more RF shielding here. So if I now want to add this SSD here, you will see that there are two things in the way. First, those metal thingies that are meant to hold the SATA SSD holder here, and then also a bit of the fan shroud. Since I already looked into this, this should be a quite easy modification. The fan in this shroud only goes up to here, or here. So I should be able to just cut a piece away without any interference. And since I use the whole space here, I also don't need those two pieces. So yeah, let's remove this part. And through the magic of having two of each, I already prepared a cooler that has those bits removed. Now just clean up the CPU. Every time you add or remove a cooler, you should re-add thermal paste and clean it, simply because so it's distributed evenly again. And now the SSD should fit in here. It's a bit finicky, but boom. If you're looking closely, you might see in a second that it doesn't fit perfectly. I already shaved a bit off here of the PCB of this holder. I added some coating so it doesn't short out anything, and also if you look like this, there's quite an angle, but this should work if I did this correctly. So for the fan, if you cut away the fan shroud here, as mentioned earlier, there's enough space here so you have parts that you can just cut away, and it should get blocked by this part of the SSD again. So I don't think this is an issue with cooling the CPU. I think even that this might be beneficial for the SSD because those things can get quite hot. And I now need to just slide this in and try to figure out how to attach the cable. And now I just need to free the Ethernet port from the bracket, because now the bracket won't fit here at all anymore. But if you want to have 8 terabytes of SSD space and a fast Ethernet interface in this device, you have to compromise. I'm just going to wrap this back part of the Ethernet port in some Kapton tape so it doesn't short out anything, because now those solder points are just like exposed, and I don't think this is good. I might need to think about a better solution for this. Maybe I just 3D print something that's attached to the outside somehow. Then again, let's see. Boom. The only other modification that is now needed is the lid. Since this lid has this screw hole here, and this interferes in this case with the SATA connector of this adapter, I was thinking about just removing this whole part of the PCB, which might work, because I don't need the SATA functionality here. It would be a cleaner mod, but I decided to just take pliers and cut it away. Now the lid won't stay on properly because it's not screwed in, so I have to use a rubber band to just hold it together. But hey, I think that's fits the style of the machine. And this is how you have quite fast SSD space, quite fast networking space in a tiny computer.